Hi, Jim.
Hi, Maria. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. So good to see you.
Well, it's so good to see you. Patrick, are you? Oh, there you are, Patrick.
I'm here.
You're here. So I don't know what happened. There's always every time, Jim, I'm on the Instagram with Patrick, something happens. Nobody else do I have any issue with. But every time I try to do something with Patrick, something happens. But anyway, we're so glad to welcome you here. Look at you have your book Limitless behind you. You have MOSH behind you. And we were saying before you came on, this is Brain Awareness Month. We've talked to experts throughout the month, and the grand finale is with you, who helps us all train our brains and has been so instrumental and helpful to the women's Alzheimer's movement and, of course, to MOSH. So, Patrick, since you're young, you get to start first.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Jim, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. And like my mom was saying, June is Brain Health Awareness Month. And at MOSH, we're a mission-driven company. We raise money for women's Alzheimer's movement, which my mother started, and you've been a big supporter of. And for anyone on here that doesn't know what MOSH is our brain bars, our kind of protein bars with brain healthy ingredients in them. And oh yeah, Jim's got all of them decked out.
Look at that. Show it up close, Jim. Show it up close. Let's see it up close.
MOSH bars.
There you go.
Yes. And so we're raising money right now for women's Alzheimer's movement. So you guys can go check out MOSH Life, our Instagram, or on our website. And every week we like to talk with different experts, different doctors, different nutritionists, brain health experts, kind of to give you guys some words of advice, some wisdom, some experts, reviews on how to better your brain. And Jim is an expert in quick learning, as he coined the term, in memory and many other things. Is that the best way to describe you, Jim, as well as a best-selling author?
Yeah, I feel like we have to take care of the thing that takes care of us. You know, I'm always pointing to my brain or wearing brains on my shirt just because I want people to know their brain. I want people to trust their brain and really love their brain. But, you know, what we see, we tend to take care of. So you see your skin, you see your hair, you see your clothes or your car. It's in our awareness, but we don't see it takes care of us, which is our brain. It controls everything in our life. And so I want to thank you both for the amazing work that you do. And thank you for also donating a portion of the proceeds to Alzheimer's research, especially. I lost my grandmother to dementia. So it's she was my, she took care of me and she was my favorite. She was my superhero. And when you see somebody kind of lose their memory, it's kind of the thread that holds everything together. And so I'm very big on brain health. And one of the most important things you do for your brain is to eat right. What you eat matters, especially for your gray matter, right?
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about that, Jim? Because I think what I love about your philosophy is that you believe you can teach anybody to use their brain better than they're using it right now. We hear so much in the zeitgeist today about brain fog. Everybody seems to be walking around saying, I'm having brain fog. I don't know, is it what I'm eating? Is it that I'm not sleeping? Yeah. And as you just mentioned, food is a big part of that. And that's what we try to answer with MOSH. You know, it's a brain bar. It's a way to kind of nourish your brain fuel. But what are the things you try to teach people to kind of become companions with their brain?
Absolutely. So when I speak at places like the Cleveland Clinic, Center for Brain Health, or I lecture to doctors or patients or caregivers, we know that about 1/3 of our memory is predetermined by genetics and biology, but about 2/3 is in our control. It's in our lifestyle. And so I take it a very like a use it or lose it approach. So a handful of things that everyone could apply right now. Let's start with a diet. A good brain diet is so very important. What you eat matters, as I said, especially to your gray matter. A whole area of science called neuronutrition, that the foods you eat, your brain is only 2% of your body mass, but it requires 20% of the nutrients and the energy and the oxygen. And so are we feeding that machine? And so what I love about MOSH is you have, a handful of very powerful nutrients and ingredients that are neuroprotective. And it's very important, and you figured out a way to make this not only nutritious, but also delicious. And it's convenient. as heck. So it's definitely a family favorite. There's no sugar. You have the adaptogens in there. It's keto friendly. It's gluten free. It's kosher. It's just, it's just amazing. It's just like happiness in a bar. You have that great.
I love that. That's a great quote, happiness in a bar. You know what, MOSH has helped me because usually in the afternoon, I used to find myself going to cookies or, other stuff that wasn't so good for me, or even in the morning, I would go to a muffin that was really high in sugar. So I've been able to grab my MOSH bar in the morning and then in the afternoon. And that's just helped me stay away from sugar, which we now know is so bad for your brain.
It's probably the worst out there. So having a snack that's guilt-free, that you could have, like I have mine either before and after a workout. It's clean fuel. It's great to curb those, especially some of the ingredients, like the ashwagandha. It helps to curb your appetite, so you don't eat out of stress. It helps reduce stress, helps reduce anxiety, to be even more free. So that's a starting point, is the food we eat, because what we eat becomes us. And so you are what you eat.
So Jim, you've coined this term quick learning, which is obviously very handy with your last name. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about quick learning, and then we can get into some of the tips and tools you use to learn faster and to memorize better, etc.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing to know is that regardless of wherever you are watching, regardless of your age, your background, your education level, your gender, your history, your IQ, everybody can improve their memory. We just weren't taught. It wasn't a class taught in school, right? There was no class called Memory 101. I always thought it should have been the fourth R in school. You have reading, writing, arithmetic, and then what about remembering, right? What about retention? What about recall? Yeah. Socrates said there is no learning without remembering. And so we have a pretty popular podcast. Love to invite the two of you on to talk about brain nutrients. That's just 15 minutes on how to improve your brain power, how to improve your focus, how to read faster, how to get rid of that brain fog that we all struggle with. That our brain could grow older, but in a lot of ways it could improve and it could grow better. We've discovered more about the human brain probably in the past 10 years than the previous 1,000 years combined. What we found is we're grossly underestimating our own capabilities. And so genetics is the metaphor people have heard before, but when it comes to Alzheimer's dementia, it's genetics kind of could load the gun, if you will, the metaphorical gun, but it's our lifestyle that really pulls that trigger. And so it's our environment that really, sees whether or not these genes express themselves. So I would say that, so we have courses and books and all those things, teaching people how to give people an owner's manual for their brain in a way that's fun and entertaining and enjoyable.
And if you were to, Jim, give our viewers and kind of followers and customers your top 3 ways to improve your environment or your lifestyle, what would you say? At MOSH, we talk a lot about your diet, reducing the sugar, about exercise, socializing, and sleep is obviously a huge component. But what coming from you, what are your kind of top 3 ways to positively impact the environment?
Yeah, I mean, assuming people are taking care of those 3 things, which is the food, the exercise, and the sleep, which, that's really the trifecta, if you will. I would also say social connection is so important. We definitely see a correlation between people who have, even when we're talking about mental health and loneliness, the epidemic, especially the past couple of years. I would say one of the best things we could do is not only feed our body and our brain with the great nutrients that you provide, but also feed our minds. There's an algorithm, like we happen to be on social media. There's an algorithm to social media. Whatever you engage with the most, you notice that the algorithm gives you more of it. So if you watch cat videos, they show you more cats, right? And you think that your whole newsfeed becomes cats.
No wonder my newsfeed is all cats.
Right. But
one thing I found, I just want to say, I think what Jim has is a point which was helpful to me is you talk about become emotionally connected to words and to story, and that helps you remember. And I hear people, whether they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond, people always saying, I just can't remember a name. I can't remember this or that. Give us one quick little lesson in how to remember something in your day-to-day, because so many people freak out when they can't remember something.
Yeah, I would remember improving your memory as easy as PIE, P-I-E, which might be an interesting, you know, we could do bars and pie. Blueberry pie. Blueberry is one of my favorite also.
Yeah.
So I'll request that maybe as a future flavor. I call them brain berries. But PIE stands for 3 ways improving your memory. P is a place. We remember things based on where we saw that thing. If you forget someone's name, you should ask yourself, where do I know that person from? And sometimes the place will give you the name. The I in PIE stands for imagine. We tend to remember things that we can imagine and we can see. Like a lot of people are better with faces than they are with names because you saw the face and you only heard the name, right? You go to someone and say, I remember your face, but I forgot your name. You never go to someone and say the opposite. You never go to someone and say, I remember your name, but I forgot your face, right? There's a proverb that says, what I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. And what I do, I understand. I heard the name, I forgot it. I know I saw your face, so I remember it. And what I do, going back to practice, is really the ultimate understanding. When we take knowledge, like, you can know that sleep is good for you. You can know that exercise is good for you. You can know that eating, you know, incorporating MOSH into your daily diet and regimen is good for you. But if you're not acting on it, nothing changes. And so what I'm looking for when I'm remembering someone's name, or I will remember a grocery list, if I'm going down to Air One or something like that, I think about a place, and maybe it could be your body. And I think about the imagine what I want to remember as a picture. Let's say it happens to be, I want to remember to buy some avocados. And then the E stands for entwine. We tend to remember things that we connect to something else, entwine. And so, and what you're entwining is the place and the image. So imagine the place is the top of your head. And have you ever gone to the store to buy one thing, but you come back with 2 bags full of things?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day it happens.
Except for that one thing you went to buy, right? But imagine instead you had your grocery list on your body. You put it to you're 8 years old, and on the top of your head, you had avocados. And you just imagine using avocados as a hair conditioner. You wouldn't forget that, right? If you want to remember to buy some blueberries, imagine blueberries coming out of your nose. And it's kind of silly and childish, but children also happen to be the fastest learners, right? They can learn very quickly. If you want to remember to buy some broccoli, imagine a big piece of broccoli in your teeth, right? And they're all great brain foods, by the way.
So
So are you saying, Jim, that you should remember these things before you go to the supermarket? You should emotionally connect them to your body. Yeah. And then when you go in the market, you'll be thinking, oh, I have avocado in my hair. Oh my God, blueberries are coming out of my nose. Right?
I can't wait till the next time I go to the grocery store with Maria.
Right. You can remember coconuts, which is a brain food, coconut oil, cleaning your ears with coconut oil or something. And then you'll just remember.
I put my coconuts in my boobs.
Right. If you add emotion to it, you'll never forget it. Yeah. Because information by itself, that's we forget. But when we tie emotion, it becomes unforgettable. And
that's such an important thing Jim taught me when I was, he and I were flying to a thing, and he talked all about emotion, right? And that if you invest emotion, we now know that with kids with social and emotional learning, if people are emotionally connected to the material, you remember it better. So if you're struggling with brain fog, you're struggling with names, you're struggling with lists, and everybody I talk to is. That's not, people come up to me and say, I can't remember the name of a trellis. Does that mean I have Alzheimer's? Well, it might mean you just don't remember the word trellis, right? But if you can kind of talk about what Jim's doing and emotionally connect yourself to your lists, to things around your house, right. That helps you remember, and then that calms your stress down too, because stress is really bad for the brain. It
does. Chronic stress has been shown to actually shrink the human brain. Chronic fear, going back to feeding our minds, it's the same thing with that algorithm. If we're always looking at what's dark and scary, sometimes that's all we see, because it's like our newsfeed with cats. And chronic fear would actually suppress our immune system over time. It makes you more susceptible to colds, the flus, the viruses. So I would say one of the most important things we could do is feed our brain and feed our body. Be conscious. There's a quote in my book, Limitless, that says, life is the C between B and D, where B stands for birth and D is death. C, life, choice. That we have choices. We could choose what we're gonna, what's on our fork, right? We could choose if we're gonna just binge watch something else or read a book or listen to a podcast. And it doesn't have to be all the time, but I think that one step in another direction, small little choices add up to big decisions in our life. That first we create those habits, and then those habits create us, right? We create the habits of going to bed at a certain time, of exercising each day, of taking a nice walk, or do some breathing exercises, or meditation, or having a bar, right? Those little choices add up to big choices, because consistency compounds. That these little things, little by little, a little becomes a whole lot.
Right. And
Somebody asked
so
the
if
name
people
of Jim's
have
book, Limitless. Go ahead, Patrick.
No, I'm saying if you have questions, anyone on here, you can feel free to ask in the comments and we'll try to get to them. I've seen a couple people, and Jim, I know you've talked about this on your profile, that one of the most asked questions you get is about morning routine, and how creating momentum in the beginning of your day is one of the most beneficial things for your brain and for your body and overall success. So what talk to us about your morning routine. I'm a huge believer in morning routines and working out in the morning, and my ice bath and the sauna and all these different things. But tell us about yours.
Yeah, I was talking to our buddy Ed Milet about this recently, going over new routines that we're adding in the past couple of years. And I would say, if you want to win the day, you have to win that first hour of the day. And so I would say you have your to-do list and add your routine onto it. But I would also say a not to-do list. So the first thing I would say is maybe not touch your phone the first 30 minutes of the day. And I know most of us do, and it's okay every once in a while, but for your brain, when we're talking about brain health and mental health, and I think mental health starts with good brain health, right? I would say sometimes it's not the best thing to do, make a choice to pick up our phones, because when you wake up, you're very relaxed and you're very suggestible. And the first thing you do is pick up your phone. You're rewiring your brain.
Here's my son-in-law,
Chris
Pratt, who's just going.
Hey.
What are you doing?
I'm here at the office, and they said you were doing a MOSH IG Live, and they said, go in and talk to her. And I said, I'm sure she's going to be so upset. So if I do, look at this.
Look at this. All of us are on here. We're talking about, well,
when do you go live?
We're live. We're on live, and we're talking about brain health.
Great.
We're talking about how to remember things. Actually, this would be good for you.
That's good. Yeah.
Because sometimes you do get distracted and can't remember things. And Jim here,
That's true.
have you met Jim?
Hi,
He's
Jim.
a brain expert. He has a whole book called Limitless and a whole podcast, and he teaches you how to emotionally remember things, like the list that Catherine probably gave you right now that you're supposed to bring home. You probably forgot what's on the list.
Yes, I did.
So he teaches you how to remember, emotionally connect to, like, if you're supposed to bring home an avocado, think about it in your hair. If you're supposed to bring home some blueberries, think about them coming out of your nose.
So great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's very good.
Do you have any questions for him about your own memory or your own brain fog? Or what are you doing? Or MOSH bar. You love MOSH
I've been
bar.
crushing the MOSH bars, so there's no chance that there'll be any decline in my cognitive ability. I've been loving it. They're so good, and I wanted to pop in and just say hi and interrupt you guys, so I'm sorry to distract. But yes, Limitless, I'm very excited about that, and I love brain tricks. I think anytime you can tie, I like to think of, I'm just going to take over for 2 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
I like to think of our brain as a little bit like space, like the cosmos, right? You're looking out, and there's a multitude of stars, because for every thought we have, every memory, every little bit of information we've learned, we actually save it. We write it into our mind in a tiny little neural bundle. And anytime you think of carrots, it's the same neurons that are going to be firing. Anytime you think of a doorway, it'll be the same neurons firing. And so as we expand our knowledge, it's like the cosmos ever expanding. And so if you want to remember things, what you have to do is link these stars together. So if you have a carrot, you need to bring home carrots. If you think of the crunch of a carrot, or a salad that you have that you love that has carrots on it, or maybe think of Bugs Bunny eating carrots. Yeah. Those stars will then create a constellation. And you never forget a constellation, but it's much easier to remember a constellation than a star. And if you remember the constellation, all of a sudden you have access to all of the stars, one of which is the carrots. Okay, there we go.
He hasn't had any coffee. Have you had coffee?
No, I'm going to get some coffee right now.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Anyway, you just said kind of what he said, which means that you're a brain expert, because he was talking about all of that, the emotion of connecting those images, right?
No,
Jim?
well, we were talking about morning routine is what we were on. That was the subject we were on.
But I love the idea of constellations, because we have 87 billion neurons, and each of them have upwards of 10,000 synapses. So there are actually more potential connections than there are stars in the known constellation in the universe. And it's amazing. And so to be able to remember a script, lines for a movie, comes in and just magnifies everything. And so, you know, there's no such thing as a good or bad memory. There's a trained memory and also an untrained memory. But I love how you can light up different constellations inside your own brain.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, we were talking about the importance for your brain in the morning routine. So you actually have a morning routine, right?
Yes.
What is it?
Wake up between 6 and 6:30, take my oldest daughter, Lila, downstairs, make her yogurt, toast, and maybe sausage or something else for breakfast. We sit and we enjoy breakfast together, and then Mama comes down with Eloise, and they finish up feeding, and we spend a little time on the couch together. And then it goes from there. Sometimes at 7 or sometimes at 8, we'll have a scheduled workout, but that's the morning.
Do you pick up your phone right away? He was saying that you shouldn't pick up your phone.
No, I don't pick up my phone right away. I put on my watch, which is an Apple Watch, and that tracks my day. But I try not to pick up my phone or bring it with me to the table when I get that first bit out. And then I do my God time routine.
Yeah, you do your God time, and then when Jack is with you, I know you always do like some kind of like push-ups and things like that in the morning. So you have a whole specific, depending on your day, but you always start with God time. Always
have it in there. Yeah, I always have it's like a 6 or 7 minute meditation prayer thing that I do. It's actually the Church Home app. It's an awesome app.
Yeah, we have that in common. We both do God time in the morning. We do it differently, but it's meditation or quiet time. And since I don't have any babies at home, I'm not doing any of what they're all doing.
Yeah, one of the best things you could do in the morning, prayer, gratitude, meditation, get your mind right to be able to win that first hour so you can win the rest of the day. But first you create your habits, then your habits create you. But that's a wonderful time. And then think creatively. First thing in the morning and plan your day. You know, what I do is I'll sit in bed and I'll do this thought experiment, and I invite everyone to do this. It's just imagine you're coming home, you're fast forwarding 12 hours, you're coming home, and at night a family member asks you, how was your day? And you're like, I crushed it. Today was amazing. And then what had to happen in order for you to feel that way? And then really focus. The most important, it's not time management, it's really priority management. The key is the most important thing is to keep the most important things, right? And focus on the things that really matter. And so, and your brain really matters.
Well, why did you repeat that again? The key is to keep the most important things, Yeah,
the most important thing is to keep the most important things. And I would place our brain up there because it controls the rest of your day, right? You could pick up your phone and get one message. It could hijack your mood for the rest of the day, you know, or it could train you to be distracted.
Well, Jim, what was interesting, we put out a big poll last week on women's health, the women's Alzheimer's movement, and about 70 to 80% of people said their doctors had never spoken to them about their cognitive health. They've never spoken to a doctor. And I was actually talking to Patrick's girlfriend's sister, and she was like, well, where would I go to talk to somebody about my brain health? Has your doctor ever talked to you about your brain health?
No, I don't think so. No.
See? So how do we get doctors and people to talk about brain health other than on these Instagram lives or on your podcast?
Yeah. I mean, I would invite everyone who's watching right now. You're creating this brain army, you know, this brain health army, if you will. We become these brain warriors and advocates for mental health, for brain health. And it's important conversation. And it takes a kind of a groundswell, right? The brain is everything, you know, it controls everything. It doesn't come with an owner's manual. So I think these kind of conversations can make a difference. That one step in another direction can completely change our destination, you know, not only as our family, our neighborhood, our communities, a nation, but also the world. You change your brain, you change your life. You change your brain, you change the world.
Change your brain, change your life, change your brain, change the world. Okay. I
love it.
Remember that, Patrick? Do you have any other questions for Jim or Chris?
Well, I guess we can go back to what people were commenting. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm not sure. Did we get a
save this live? I'm a speed reader, so I'm reading all the comments, and that's the most mentioned thing right now is make sure you save it because people want to rewatch it. And also make sure everyone should go get a trial packet of MOSH Pit also as well. You know, I don't know how, if you want to direct these, they should be following MOSH for new updates. You guys are posting some great stuff online.
Yeah, a few people have asked about the ingredients in MOSH specifically, so we'll comment.
Can I challenge everyone to do one small simple step? Take a screenshot of this live right now, tag us all here, And when you teach something, you get to learn it twice. And that's how we really change the world. We learn something for ourselves, but then we teach it for other people. So take a screenshot, tag the 4 of us, post it so we see it, and share one thing you're going to do for a better brain. And whether you, what's your favorite flavor of Mosh bars if you try them? I'm not actually curious what everyone's, because it's nutritious, right? So screenshot. I'll actually gift 10 copies to 10 random people that do that, just as a thank you for supporting the MOSH's mission. We donate 100% of the proceeds to charity, and we're happy, even just as a thank you. I saw like we had some high numbers here. Our team will donate another $5,000 to WHAM, just for the
wow.
in memory of my
Wow, thank you so much, Jim. That's so great of you. I know, and you've been so helpful in spreading the information about the women's Alzheimer's movement and talking about MOSH and talking about your own family's journey with Alzheimer's. Chris has been so supportive of MOSH. He tried all the samples, right, Patrick? He was the sample leader of all our bars.
He's given us all the honest feedback when it's good and when it's not. So it's important to have someone that's not, that gives us the honest feedback.
And also that was a salesman. What I loved about it, you were a salesman early on in your career.
Yeah.
And so he gave us a lot of advice early on about how to sell the bar. Yeah, it was really helpful, actually. It was really, because we're all selling something, right? We're all marketing. You're selling your movie.
Yeah.
That opens tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Patrick's in it, Terminalist.
Yeah, Terminalist, July 1st, streaming. In 2 days, it'll be available on Amazon, on Prime Video. You can watch all 8 episodes, see Patrick, see myself, and the Terminalist.
Your character in the Terminalist definitely needed some MOSH bars, maybe.
Yo, you're right about that. Yeah, certainly. There's an element, a through line around cognitive brain health.
Yeah, really?
Yes. Maybe not exactly like what you would think, not like necessarily. I don't want to give away, but yes. And when you watch it, you'll see.
And then you've been so active with veterans who have a lot of PTSD, who have a lot of brain traumatic injuries. And so we're all doing research to try to figure out how we can better understand the brain. And I know that's an interest to you and all the vets that you work with.
100%.
So Terminalist has a lot of real life vets in it.
Yes. Yeah. Terminalist, we employed over 20 actual Navy SEALs, both in front of and behind the camera. We had spec operators in our writing room, Navy SEAL producers, tech advisors, and a bunch of men and women in uniform or former, service members on various in various departments of the crew. And yeah, we employed a bunch of veterans. Brain health is a big thing, and people don't talk about it. They'll talk about you can go online and find out how to exercise each of the muscles in your body, or how to have a chiropractor. Like there seems like it to be certain therapies geared towards working on every part of our body, but the brain. I mean, I like your brain teasers. That feels like flossing to me. It's like you got to get in there. You got to work the plaque out. You got to get it out. But speaking of which, I'm going to be late. And
bye.
Jim, it's a pleasure to meet you. And Patrick, wonderful to see you. And Maria, I love you.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
So, yes, we loved having our. Now we can always have. Gosh, look at that. I'm going to get him your book, Jim, so he can read Limitless. And you never know what's going on in this office here. All kinds of things are going on. And now we're going to add MOSH. So I don't know I don't see MOSH here. I don't want Bentley to touch anything because there is no request for MOSH. But find out more at moshlife.com. Yes, I hope all of you will go to moshlife.com. And it's made with love. We kind of spent a lot of time getting all the right ingredients, making sure there was no sugar in there, making sure that it was healthy, making sure that it was something we could all be really proud of. And Jim has been so supportive and helpful. And somebody said, I need Jim's book. You can buy Jim's book. You can get it on Amazon. Oh, there's MOSH Life. Look at that's the special box that we have. You can see that has all the flavors. We have new flavors coming out in September, I believe, and also in November, right? I don't know what happened to Patrick, but and so why is sugar bad for the brain? Somebody just asked you, Jim. Why is sugar bad for the brain?
Yeah, so sugar is on the other side. So we know what to eat and what to eat matters, especially with gray matter, but there's certain foods you definitely want to avoid or at least reduce. And so these are the processed foods, the trans fats, the fried foods. and sugar. And so sugar is very harmful for the brain. And the great thing about, when we're talking about vitamin D, lion's mane, vitamin B12, all the ingredients, that no one's perfect, right? We don't want to stress out about our diet too much because it kind of counters the benefits of eating right all well. But I would say just one small, simple step, maybe start something and stop. How about that? Maybe stop, maybe complaining or sort of reducing, some of the binge watching we're doing or whatever it is, and then do one new thing. Maybe take the dog out, one extra time that day, or maybe work in a 5-minute meditation. Maybe it's following MOSH right now and getting a trial pack, and that's a small, simple step, right? Because those little steps add up to big journeys. Because I think we're all on this journey to reveal and realize more of our potential, right? And right now, in the times that we're in, sometimes we're downgrading our dreams to meet the current situation. And I think we could also think about it. Maybe we should upgrade. Maybe we should upgrade our mindset, add more positive things. Maybe we could upgrade our motivation. Maybe we could upgrade what we're feeding our mind and our body with the best things ever. Because while viruses are contagious, but so is positivity. Positivity is contagious, and so is performance, right? And so is things that are nutritious for us. And so what are those nutritious things in your life? Who are the people that feed your soul? What are the things that you could read, the things that you could connect to, whether it's your spirituality, whether it's your neighborhood, and how can you give back, right? You learn to earn so you could return. And contribution is just like gratitude, is a wonderful way to get out of stress and fear. When you focus on somebody else's plight, when you focus on other people's struggle, because kindness is a superpower. We never know the battles people are facing. And I really commend everybody who's on this journey right now that's going through tough times. I think through struggles leads to strength. I don't know a lot of strong people that had easy lives. Sometimes we fall down so we could, have the strength to be able to get back up. And remember that time you didn't know you would survive? Well, you did, because you're watching this right now. And then I would also say kindness not only to others, because we don't know the battles they're in, but also kindness to ourselves. That could go a long way. Falling in love with that person in the mirror that is looking back at you, who's been through so much, but you're still standing. You inspire people with your grit and your grace. So take small little steps.
Thank you so much.
Yes, join a community of people that are like-minded and do little things. What you put in your body makes the difference. What you put in your mind it's also what's going to express out of you. And you're the greatest project you're ever going to work on. Take time, make time, create magic.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for your time. And as we've said, every single week we've been doing these conversations with different experts in the brain health field, from doctors to nutritionists to people like you that can help people remember better and learn faster. And, you're such an expert when it comes to brain health. So we really appreciate it. And we also really appreciate how much you've involved yourself with the Women's Alzheimer's movement, raising money for Alzheimer's, raising money for brain health and research. And that's really what our mission is here at MOSH. We're a mission-driven company. We raise money for the Women's Alzheimer's movement, and we really believe that the brain and body are affected by food, and that's why we've created this product. And just one more time, I know a lot of people here are asking what's in the bars, what are they? We've shown a little bit of the benefits here, but here are some of the ingredients we actually have in it. We have these omega-3s, which are very good for your brain health, ashwagandha and lion's mane, which are functional mushrooms that are great, vitamin D3, B12. It's made with, almonds, which are really great for brain health. One day we'll have a blueberry one, a brainberry for Jim, since that's requested. And we have a bunch of different flavors. So come check us out. And right now it's Brain Health Awareness Month, so we're raising money. And we really just appreciate your time, Jim, and continue to hopefully bring you guys information week over week about brain health and ways to sleep better, memorize better, etc. So if you ever have questions, just comment and no, it's not loaded with sugar. If whoever just asked that, 0 grams of sugar.
And remember what Jim said. Remember what Jim said about the avocado in your hair. Remember about making emotional connections. Remember that you can train your brain. You can follow Jim, and who will teach you those kinds of things. And there's all different forms of intelligence and all different ways to connect your brain and help it work for you. And so we want to thank you, Jim, for all you're doing. We're so glad you're in the MOSH family. And this was really fun. I have to say, this was really fun. So I hope we can do it again. Who knows who will pop in next time, right, Patrick?
Let's do it.
You never know. You never know.
Thank you both for the capes that you wear, and everybody who took the time to join us. You know, and I hope every day is full of lots of life and lots of love, lots of laughter, and always lots of learning. Yet another person said, please save this IGTV. I don't know how to do that myself.
For sure we will, and we'll all share it. We'll put it up everywhere.
Yeah, we'll
thank
share.
you all so much. If people ask where you get MOSH, you go to moshlife.com. We're direct to consumer, so you buy it there, and you will love it, and you will come back and become a subscriber. And you can have it in your bag, in your car, in your gym bag, in your house. The packaging is beautiful. It comes from a brain scan, so it's nice enough to leave out in your kitchen. That was also a big priority for me. Make it beautiful. And it's also nutritious and good. So there you go. All righty. Well, thank you so much. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Chris, wherever you went. Thank all of you for spending all this time with us today. Don't forget, MOSH. Your MOSH life. Okay.
All right. Thank you.